PH Psychiatric Hospital, located just outside the city, had been operating quietly for nearly 30 years. It was a standard, mid-sized facility until the winter of 2017. That year, one patient's suicide marked the beginning of a strange and terrifying unraveling. What the staff dismissed as a tragic incident soon became the root of a series of unexplained events. The patient in question had been in treatment for a long time. He suffered from schizophrenia and severe depression with a history of self-harm. Deemed stable, he was moved to a less restrictive ward. Yet one night, he was found dead, lying beneath a locked window with no sign of forced entry or exit. It was ruled a suicide. His nameplate was removed and the room was cleared. But from that moment on, the room would never be used properly again. A new patient was assigned to the now vacant room a few days later. From the first night, he exhibited signs of distress. He became increasingly paranoid, claiming to feel a heavy presence in the room, especially at night. Oddly enough, every patient placed in that room afterwards reported similar symptoms. They described feelings of being watched, a strange weight in the air, and even phantom touches while trying to sleep. None of the claims could be confirmed, but the pattern was impossible to ignore. A nurse on night shift once recorded a sudden, inexplicable drop in temperature. The room's lights and sensors also began to fail intermittently, but only during specific late-night hours. Security staff began reviewing surveillance footage of the room. They found something strange. Around 2 a.m., a faint human shape appeared in the empty room, still unmoving, facing the corner. Seconds later, the footage glitched and cut out. The file became corrupted. They tried again several nights later, and this time, a clearer image appeared. A figure sitting on the edge of the bed, slowly turning its head. The file was again unreadable soon after. All technical explanations fell short. The hospital quietly decided to seal off the room indefinitely. Soon, reports of strange symptoms began to spread beyond that single room. Nurses requested emergency leave due to vivid nightmares and auditory hallucinations. Other patients nearby showed abrupt declines in mental stability, despite no change in treatment or medication. Strangely, every case had one common link. They had all occurred near the room where the suicide had taken place. One patient in the room directly across entered a catatonic state and had to be transferred out. It was as if something had spread, not physically, but like an infection of fear and madness. The room in question was room 221 on the second floor. Now locked, it bears no sign or nameplate. Staff who remain in the hospital say that faint electrical activity is still detectable from inside. Despite the power being cut off, some have witnessed lights flickering or machines turning on by themselves during the night. Room 221 no longer exists in the hospital's internal records, and yet its presence is still undeniable. Those who walk past it report an overwhelming unease, as if they're being watched through the door. The patient's death was not the end. It was the beginning, the start of something that couldn't be explained or contained. Something remains behind not in memory, but in the room itself. It waits silently, perhaps for the next person who dares to step inside. Room 221. Its name is gone, but what lingers within has never left. In the outskirts of Seoul, deep within a forested mountain, stood a psychiatric hospital, once operational, now long abandoned. It was closed in 2010 without explanation, but the rumors never stopped. Whispers of strange incidents, unexplainable disappearances, and a room that officially never existed. The stories persisted. One nurse who worked there during its final year eventually came forward. What she revealed was disturbing. In the fall of 2009, an unidentified woman was admitted to the hospital. She had been found wandering in the woods, injured, incoherent, and severely disoriented. After her arrival, the hospital's atmosphere began to change. There was a growing tension among the staff, especially those working on the fourth floor. Several nurses suddenly quit, offering no explanation. Some simply vanished. Oddly, rumors started spreading about a room that wasn't on the floor plan. The hospital's top floor ended at room 409. And yet, several staff members reported strange sensations, as if something existed just beyond that last door. Driven by a growing sense of unease, a nurse named Kim began investigating. She searched through old records and architectural blueprints and discovered something chilling. Decades earlier, room 410 had existed. It had been a solitary confinement room for the most unstable and violent patients. But in the early 1990s, an unexplained incident occurred there. Both patients and staff had died under mysterious and violent circumstances. Afterward, the hospital walled the room off and removed it from all official documents. The space was buried, erased from memory. No one was meant to know it had ever existed, but somehow someone did. Late one night, strange sounds echoed from the fourth floor. Lights flickered and power suddenly failed across the facility. Following the sound, the nurse reached the far end of the corridor, where the wall had begun to collapse. Behind it, a room long forgotten revealed itself. Inside, an old bed, rusted restraints, and scratch marks all over the walls. Everything was covered in dust and decay. Yet there was a lingering sense that something had remained inside, trapped, waiting. That same night, the unidentified female patient went missing. Security footage ended abruptly just as she neared the collapsed wall. Her whereabouts remain unknown. Shortly after, the hospital was closed permanently. No public explanation was given. The staff dispersed and no further investigation was conducted. Though the hospital vanished from the headlines, those who were there never forgot. Kim later came forward, breaking her silence. She claimed the hospital's true purpose was not healing, but containment. Room 410, she said, wasn't just a room. It was a boundary, a thin wall between this world and something else. Something that had once been sealed, but never destroyed. Those who entered never came back the same, and those who stayed near it were never the same again. The hospital still stands, hidden behind trees and barbed wire, its walls crumbling slowly under time and weather. Hikers occasionally report strange sights, flickering lights, distant noises, cold air emanating from sealed halls. Some claim to have approached the building only to turn away, overwhelmed by dread. Others have seen fleeting shadows moving past broken windows. Room 410 doesn't appear on any blueprint, but it was never truly removed. It's still there, sealed, silent, and perhaps watching, a forgotten ward. A room that should never have existed, and a secret still lingering in the dark. This is not just a story. It may still be happening.